Hello guys, and welcome back to another video. All right guys, so we are back with another coffee video. Today I'm gonna talk about the coffee scales. I'm gonna do a little video on coffee scales. It's not like a review, it's just my thoughts. I will talk a little bit about the Timemore Black Mirror Nano, which is a scale that Timemore came out. It kind of competes with the Akaya scale, which is kind of like the standard in the industry. I would say it's the go-to scale if you are in a professional setting. But if you're just making coffee at home, you know, an Akaya scale is gonna run you around 250 bucks, you know. For the Timemore Black Mirror Nano, I think they're selling this scale now somewhere around $80. Okay, check that out. And this one, they call it the Timemore Black Mirror Basic Plus. This is like their second generation of this scale. The very first one they came out like this had a few issues with it. I think for the most part, everything's been addressed and corrected. This scale works great. It's a lot larger. Okay, so to use it for espresso, this one it's a bit too big. It's just too big, and it doesn't have the automatic espresso mode that this one has, which I really enjoy. And that's the reason why, and the main reason why I'm making this video. It's the reason why I ended up getting the second scale. So in the beginning, I just got this one. I wanted to have a nice proper scale for pulling shots of espresso. But you know, espresso is what I do on the weekends. So in a second, we're gonna pull a shot. We'll do that in a minute. I'm gonna try to dial in a new coffee here with the Onesie Presso K+. We'll dial in. I haven't used that coffee with this grinder yet, so we'll see what happens. But anyway, I got this scale because I wanted to have that automatic feature when pulling shots. So basically, the scale will tear itself when you put the cup on it, and then when it starts to brew the espresso, it'll start the timer automatically. So it weighs your shot and times your shot all at once. As soon as it stops sensing coffee falling into the cup, it'll stop the timer and it'll tell you how many grams you got out. So it's perfect. It's the reason why I got it. But every morning I like to do pour-overs. So mainly what I do is pour-overs in the morning. And here's the thing. Here's my main gripe with this scale and the reason why I got the second one. So, all right, so I already said between the two scales, you're gonna probably spend about 120 bucks, something like that. It's still nowhere near an Akaya, which will be like double that, okay? And here, once you have both, you can set this one for your pour-overs and this one for your automatic espresso shots, and then you don't have to switch the modes. And that's the main reason why I'm making this video. It's because switching modes on this scale is it's not fun. It's not fun. You have to tap the button on the side like several times. I think you have to tap it like 3 or 4 times before it switches over to the next mode and the next mode. And it has like 4 modes. So you're there tapping, and you know, it's not fun at all. Another thing is that when you use it for dosing, if you have it on the espresso mode, when you dose, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work properly, okay? For that, you just wanna use the regular mode. So I'll use this scale for dosing my coffee, for doing my pour-overs, and then this one just for the automatic features when pulling a shot, which I really love, okay? And because of the cost of the scales, it's not really, at least for me, it's not a big deal to just get both. And it's the main reason I wanted to tell you guys, if you decide to go with this scale in particular, that changing modes is a pain. You know, you have to be tapping, and I hated that. Why couldn't they just have put like a little switch, you know, or a button you just press for the different modes or something? Just all that tapping, it just was driving me crazy. I just, you know, it wasn't worth it. I just get another one. And this one, besides the size of it is better for pour over anyway. In general, for doing pour overs, this is the one you want. And for doing espresso, this is the one you want. So once you have it on your automatic espresso mode, you never have to touch the mode and switch modes again. But now you could do it, and I did it for a while. But you know, for me, it's just easier to just get another one for pour overs, and I'm glad I did. I'm glad I did. The both scales are rechargeable. They come with the USB-C cable already in the box, and you just use any kind of little brick that you have from a phone or something to charge them. The battery lasts forever on both of them. As a matter of fact, this one I haven't even recharged it, and I've been using it now for like a couple of weeks. I haven't even recharged it. This one I used it for like a month before I even recharged it. And that's when I was using it for pour-overs. So, you know, you have it on for 6, 7, 8 minutes. And normally for espresso shots, you're gonna have it on just for a few seconds. So once you just use this for espresso, if you're doing it like the way I'm doing it, wow, the battery in here is gonna last forever. The build of these two scales is outstanding. I mean, to me, it's just the build quality and the way they look is great. They both come with this little silicone pad that you put over the top of them to kind of protect them from the heat. I've used them without it, nothing happened. But they do come with this little silicone pad. You want to use that just to protect them from the heat. And basically, you know, they're trouble-free. I mean, they're really nice. The way they look is just outstanding. So if you like doing your little Instagram shots and everything like I enjoy, which, by the way, follow me on Instagram. I do a lot of coffee stuff on there, put coffee-related stuff on there. So yeah, you know, I wanted to tell you guys about this. As far as accuracy, build quality, responsiveness, everything on these two scales is great. It's awesome. But yeah, I wanted to tell you guys about this thing about switching modes, which is really a pain. So if you don't want to be tapping there forever to switch modes every time you're doing a pour over, and then you want to dose, and then you want to go to your espresso mode, and you're just tapping, and it's just not fun. They should have done a little rocker switch or something, and it would have made life so much easier. But it is what it is. So if you get both, then you set one for one thing, one for the other, and you have no problems. By the way, this one times also. It just doesn't have, as far as I know, I think it has a pour over, but I don't use it like that. When I do my pour overs, I start the timer myself, okay? And then it just starts to weighing it, okay? So you'll see that, let's see, let's turn it on. All right, so you see the display has on one side the weight, on the other side the timer. So you just, I don't know if you could see that in this angle. I mean, let me see. I don't know if this will work. It obviously is not sensing right because it's not flat on the counter, but you can, when you press it, you see how it's very responsive, very quick, and then you just start the timer. You know, you tap it and that's it. You're off and running. You tap it again, it stops. You tap and hold for a second or so, and it should tear. Well, again, it's off the table, so you stop it, you tap and hold, and it tears to 0. Okay, so for pour over or dosing your coffee, this scale is great. But now, man, this one, it's just awesome to have that mode where it does the espresso shot, everything automatic. You see it's already set for that. So as soon as I want to pull a shot, I put my cup on there, it will, let's see. It weighs it, but then it'll tear it. You see? And then as soon as it starts sensing the water dripping, it'll start the timer. It'll time the shot for you. And it just works great. I love it. I recommend them both. The price is right. The build quality and the way that they look is awesome. They work perfectly. And you know, that's basically what I wanted to tell you guys. I wanted to tell you guys about that thing with switching modes. It's really became a pain. The reason why I ended up with 2 scales. And I'm glad I did. I enjoy both of them. I use this one for the pour overs and this one for espresso, and it's great. All right, now the rest of this video, we're just gonna talk about, you know, just coffee in general, some other things. We're gonna pull a shot in a minute. I'm gonna dial in with the Macondo light roast that I picked up the other day. Macondo is a local roaster. It's a place that I enjoy going for lunch, and every now and then when I'm there, I just pick up a bag of coffee. They have, you know, they do all the usual stuff. You know, they have the light roast, medium roast, dark roast. They have like an espresso roast that they do. I'm not sure if it's a blend or maybe it's just a little bit darker. I have tried that, all of them. They're all great. The light roast is the first time I pick it up. I've been drinking it as pour over every morning, and it's great. But today we're gonna try to dial in for espresso for the first time and try it out. I've told you guys that for espresso, I prefer like a medium to darker roast, especially if it's a milk-based drink. Okay, if it's a milk-based drink, for sure, When I'm having just a shot, I enjoy the light roast. I would say it's more interesting. You can't say better because better is, it depends who you ask. But let's just say it's more interesting. You get a higher acidity, obviously, and you do get some tasting notes. It could be fruitier, it could be more citrusy, and that kind of stuff. The darker roast, you get those more chocolate flavors. You get more like caramel. You get just like a richer flavor, and it combines with milk a lot better, and that's the reason why I use that with milk. So recently we did some videos on a few products. I did pretty much a review and a how-to on this grinder. Really well built, really nice, pleasure to use. So glad I got it. It's the 1Z Presso K Plus model. So I did, that's already up on the channel. And by the way, at the end of this video, you'll see the little card pop up as to a playlist that I have on my channel called Coffee Related Videos. If that's all you want to watch, you just want to see the coffee stuff, just go ahead and click on that playlist and all my coffee videos will pop up on there. So I just recently did a video specific as to the grinder. We also did a video, and that's why I had these boxes here, just to tell you guys, if you want to see a review and talk about specialty coffee, is it worth it? Is getting specialty coffee worth it just to the average consumer? So I did a video specifically to that, and it was with these coffees, Onyx Coffee, my opinion on these coffees. We dialed in for espresso. And on the very first video on that series, because I ended up doing 3 videos, on the very first video, we talked about the Tricklet Brewer. Okay, so the Tricklet Brewer is this little brewer you see right here. We did a pour over with using the Tricklet Brewer. I've been enjoying this quite a bit. I've been using this for my pour overs now in the mornings. And, I'm having a lot of fun with it. If you're interested in all this coffee stuff, then, you get a new brewer, you want to experiment with it and see the best cup of coffee you can get out of it. So yeah, if you want to see that video or the one about the grinder or the coffee, it's all up on the channel now. So this one, I just wanted to tell you guys a little bit about the scales. And by the way, if you want to know something specifically, because again, there's reviews already on YouTube on these scales. I just wanted to give you my thoughts and to tell you about this thing with the switching modes, which I think is ridiculous. They should have just put a button specific for that you could just tap once to maybe toggle between all the modes, or some kind of little switch or something to make it easier. By the way, the Acaia scale is the same kind of thing. You gotta be tapping and all this, remember all this, how many taps and all this kind of stuff. It is, I believe it's easier. And the Acaia scale, one thing it has is that it has connectivity. So it connects to your phone with an app. So maybe on the app you can switch it. So that, I don't know if you could do that, but so if you guys have seen, please comment below. Can you do that with the Acaia? Can you connect to it with the phone and then switch the modes? Because wow, I might get it if that happens. Man, you get into this coffee stuff and you go down the rabbit hole of the coffee making and the hobby, and you just, you want to try all these products and all these toys. Okay, another thing is there are some changes coming to the brew bar. You guys will see that pretty soon. There's some new toys coming in. And once they come in, I'm sure I'll end up making a video, or at least you'll see them in the background. Okay, something like that. And my Instagram for sure, because I always post when I get all the new coffee toys on Instagram. I think it's a lot of fun, and there's a lot of people into this stuff. I'm surprised. Like all these coffee videos I'm making are getting some views, and people do engage. They send me DMs. By the way, if you want to know anything specific, like I was saying, just either comment below and I'll answer you on this video, or reach out on Instagram. Okay, on Instagram I answer everyone. Just send me a DM and I'll answer you. If it's something you want me to try with these scales, maybe I'll do that. Again, I think I cover the main points. They're very accurate, they're very responsive, they're water resistant. You can spill water on top of them, just wipe them down, nothing happens. The build quality is great, they look awesome. Okay, and now an interesting question is, do you even need a scale? I mean, do you need to do you need a scale to make good coffee? Probably not. The thing is that if you want to stay as consistent as possible, you want your shots to taste pretty much the same every time, or your pour overs in the morning, you want to tweak them. Maybe you might want to get them a little bit sweeter, or you want more of that acidity, or it depends. And you can do that. by playing with the different parameters that make a good coffee. Okay, so things like water temperature, grind size, the time that it takes to brew the shot. All these things, all these variables, it's what you want to control to be able to get a better shot of coffee or a better cup of coffee if you're doing a pour over. So, but do you need a scale like this? Do you need a Timemore? You need an Acaia? Absolutely not. Okay, absolutely not. I started with this one. This one is from Amazon. It's like 10 bucks. This one's like 80. Is this like 800 times better than this one? No, no. You can do, for the longest time, I just used this one and my phone to time the shot. It's just a little more intricate, a little more things to do, a little more things you got to watch out for. It's not like an automatic thing. You put this there, it times your shot, it weighs your shot, and all you got to concentrate is on stopping the machine. Okay, here you got to keep track of a few more things, but it's definitely doable. It's all you need. Okay, so do you need a scale? I would say yes. If you want to make like good coffee and stay consistent, you need a scale. But obviously you can make coffee without a scale. Okay, so obviously you can. It's just gonna be very hard to get everything right, and it's gonna be a lot harder to stay consistent from shot to shot and things like that. But with this scale, you can absolutely, this is all you need. It's like 10 bucks, okay? So this one's not water resistant. If you get water and it goes into the electronics, it's gonna get messed up. And also the LCD, if you get water on there, you're gonna wanna dry it real quick, and hopefully it doesn't like go inside and mess it up, because it will mess it up. But again, at 10 bucks, you can buy 10 of these by the time you just get one of these. So, I don't know. You don't really, again, this is for a hobbyist. This is for someone that enjoys playing with all these little toys. And, this is a hobby that you get to practice every day, which is one of the things I like about it, right? Like, let's say you're into fishing. You might be lucky if you get to go fishing once a week or something like that. This you get to do every day. Every morning, you can enjoy, tweaking your pour over. You can try a V60. You can try a Tricklet. You can try all the different kinds of brewers that are out there on the market, which is like hundreds. Okay, there's all kinds of stuff or ways of brewing coffee, and it's just kind of fun. You mess with that every morning. You spend 10-15 minutes making your coffee and setting things up, and it's just kind of fun. I listen to the news as I'm making my coffee, and it's cool. All right, so in a minute, we'll go ahead and try to dial in the Macondo light roast using the 1Z Presso K Plus, and we'll try to pull a shot, and we'll just have the straight shot, because on a light roast, for sure, what I like is the straight shot. And we'll see how long that takes. If it goes well, and we get the job done in just 1 or 2 tries, then maybe we'll make a cappuccino afterwards. And another thing I wanted to say and to mention is that the Breville Smart Grinder Pro, which is what I've been using for the longest, the Breville Smart Grinder Pro. It's a really nice, entry-level espresso grinder. Not only is it you can grind for espresso, but it does give you a coarse grind as well. If you want to do pour over or French press or something like that, you can manage with the Smart Grinder Pro. Okay, you can definitely use that. If you get the Barista Express or the Barista Pro, the grinder is just for espresso. You cannot go coarse and you cannot do pour overs. Getting a hand grinder has been like really cool to me, really cool, because even the Smart Grinder from Breville is not very loud, but still there's no comparison. This thing just doesn't make any noise. And grinding with it in the mornings, it takes like 25 seconds. And I kind of look forward to it, And the Smart Grinder Pro, I used to grind my coffee like the night before or in the afternoon, and leave a little bit of coffee already prepped for the morning ground up. Because again, I wake up super early and I don't want to wake my wife up at 4 in the morning, and that's not gonna go well. So yeah, the one thing I noticed about the Smart Grinder Pro is that when you grind light roast, it struggles. It struggles. It popcorns a whole bunch, and you see it like you hear it, and you see it like it's having a tough time grinding the coffee. I think I told you guys before that light roast to like a medium or a dark roast, grinding it is way different It's way different. It takes a lot more effort to grind a light roast than a dark roast. If you do it yourself with a hand grinder, you'll notice. You will notice. It's not by any means like difficult to do a light roast by hand, but I guess for the electronics in that grinder, you know, it's an entry-level grinder. So you could see it when you try to grind a light roast. As a matter of fact, I kind of stopped grinding light roast on that grinder because it's just, it did not, it sounded like it was gonna break, like honestly. So, but there's an upgrade coming. You guys will see it soon. I'm pretty sure some of you guys could probably guess what I'm talking about because I've talked about it on other videos. But anyway, let's go ahead, let's dial in with the hand grinder, and we're gonna pull a shot of a light roast from Macondo in just a second. All right, so we're gonna start by dosing our 18 grams. So I'm gonna try to do this right here and kind of backwards. All right, so we're gonna start by dosing our 18 grams. Macondo light roast. All right, this is a Colombian coffee. We're gonna do 18 grams. It's what we usually start with, and normally I've been able to make that work. I remember in the beginning I struggled a little bit, and a lot of times I would have to down dose, so I had to go down to like 16 and a half, 17 grams. And in the beginning, I struggled a little bit dialing in with 18 grams, but people kept telling me, hey, you know, 18 grams is, you know, kind of like the standard in the industry. Not that there is a standard, but you'll see. If you get deep enough into this, you'll see that most people do go with 18 grams. So, but for the most part, we can make this work. Okay, there we got 15. Okay, one more bean is gonna put me over. Let me see. Yeah, right on the nose there, 18 grams. All right, so like I told you guys before, on this grinder, dosing into it is usually very straightforward, very easy. You dial in right here the clicks. Instead of like, you know, some grinders, the settings are down here, and on this grinder, it's right up here in very large numbers, very easy to read. It works extremely well. This is magnetic. It's just, again, if you want to see all the specifics on this, just watch the video on it. Oh, and one thing I want to mention, man, I'm sorry about the long intro on that video. I got carried away, way carried away. The intro to that video is like, I don't know, like 3 or 4 minutes long. So if you don't want to see the whole intro, just skip forward, skip the intro. But I wanted to detail all the craftsmanship of these things and the details on it. And I was concentrating on all the different products, so the intro just got way too long. I think I enjoyed the little music that I chose in the background a bit too much. Anyway, sorry about that. That's why this video is gonna have no intro. And we got right into the subject, talked about what I wanted to tell you guys about the scales, and now we'll just go ahead and just play around here and make a whole experience out of it. All right, so last time I found that a good starting point for espresso on this grinder is 4. So there's a big 4 there. There's a little red dot on top. So basically you just start, at least what I found is that starting at 4, it's a good number to start dialing in. With the Smart Grinder Pro, I usually start on 20. And I might have to go down all the way down to like 15, or I might have to go all the way up to about 25, but somewhere in there, usually you're gonna find the sweet spot where you're gonna get that nice shot with 18 grams. I usually do a 1-to-3 ratio, so it's 54 grams out. That's what we're gonna do today, okay? So we'll do a 1-to-3, 18 grams in, and 54 grams out. And we try to do that in about 30 seconds. It might be as little as like 20 seconds. That's, for me, it's a fast shot. It might be as long as 40 seconds. For me, that's very acceptable. I kind of like keeping it a little bit longer. But, you know, I would say 35 seconds, 54 grams out. For me, that would be perfect. So we'll try to shoot for that. I'm going to start, you know what? I'm going to start 2 clicks below the 4. which is what the last time when I used Onyx, that was the magic number. I think if I recall, that's what it was. 2 clicks below the 4. Let's just start with that. Let's see what happens. So 18 grams. All right, let's see how bad this is. I'll tell you guys how long this took. I'll look at the timestamp on the video when it's done. I'm not gonna just keep you here for whatever time it takes me to grind this. But usually I'll be done at this setting in about 30 seconds. That's usually what it takes. Now you see, this is a light roast and it's not that bad, man, come on. It's definitely harder than doing a medium roast or a dark roast, but it's not a big deal. In about 30 seconds, you're done. You have freshly ground coffee. These burrs in here in this grinder are very high quality. As a matter of fact, something you guys might not realize, but this grinder, it's a hand grinder and it's more expensive than the Smart Grinder Pro. So this one's actually more money and you have to do the work yourself. All right, so we're done with that. Let's see, usually when I tamp, I already know if I'm gonna be somewhere in the range that I'll get a good shot, but we'll see. Okay, so now we're gonna try to do a little puck prep. Never done this here, but we'll see how it goes. This is called a dosing ring. Most of you are gonna know about that. If you're watching this video, you probably know. But if you're new at this, at the coffee game, you might wanna get one of these, makes things tidier. You don't get any spillage of ground coffee over the portafilter. Okay, there's very little static with this grinder. Almost never does anything get stuck in there. This tool is called WDT, Wise Distribution Technique. I think it's what it stands for. And basically, you just want to go through the ground coffee with this to kind of declump it. I mean, what comes out of this grinder, it doesn't have hardly any clumps anyway, but you just go through it. Normally this is not something you're gonna see like in a high-paced setting, like at a coffee shop or something. They're not gonna take the time to do this, but if you're at home and you enjoy the process, the idea is that by distributing the coffee really well, then you're gonna get less channeling. So if the density of coffee is the same everywhere in the puck, then the water is a lot more likely to kind of drain through it everywhere at the same rate. Therefore extracting the amount of coffee that you dosed into your portafilter pretty much the same, okay? So if you get a lot of channeling, then it could tend to having an under-extracted shot of coffee. So anyway, that's the idea. Some people swear by it. I found that if you're doing the triplet, this is like a must. You don't have to use a WDT, okay? You can use a fork, just use a fork, but you have to use something because the triplet, that's the main thing with it. It's a lot of channeling with it. So you have to control the channeling. And on the video, I cover my techniques to do that. It definitely has worked because in the beginning, I struggled a whole bunch with channeling, and now pretty much I get an excellent cup of coffee every single time. Okay, so now everything's in there, and a lot of people will use some kind of distribution tool. This is just like a cheap one from Amazon, but I see it does the trick. You kind of adjust here so that when the depth of it is just right for what you're trying to do. And usually I keep it at the same. Once I figured out what works most of the time, I use it, I keep it the same. And you're gonna see like if it flattened it out or not, and it kind of distributes the top of it so that, again, you wanna keep the density the same everywhere. There's some more like fancier ones that they're kind of like weighted and they kind of fall into the coffee and press down on the coffee. And obviously that's gonna work a little bit better than this, because this, you would have to adjust it every single time to get just the right depth, and you know, I'm not gonna go that far. I like playing with the tools, but that's pretty crazy. All right, so now the next step, you're gonna tamp. This has a tamper on the other side. I have it set so that when you tamp with this, if everything is right, which a lot of times it's not, but if everything is right, this is all you need. You tamp with this, and you're gonna get your shot just right. And again, the goal is for the water, the 54 grams, to go through the puck of coffee in about 30 seconds, okay? So this will usually make it so, all right? But if it's too fine, for example, then this stops working, because when you try to tamp with it, it no longer presses down on the coffee because it's too fine. It just goes down like nothing. So in that case, if you sense that, then you might want to finish tamping with this. Just press it until it kind of gives you the resistance, and just keep it the same every time. You don't need this at all. Okay, you could just, I would suggest you just get a WDT to kind of make things even, and then you could just tamp, okay? But again, you get into this and you get into all the little toys to pull your shot of coffee. And all right, so let's try the tamp with this one and see how it goes. Okay, I might be too fine because I got no resistance. So we're gonna definitely have to use this. When you use this one, the main thing, okay, it went down, but not a whole bunch. I think this shot is going to brew, but I think it's gonna take longer than 35 seconds. That's my guess from the way it went. We'll see. So basically with this, the main thing is that you wanna, you know, press down with the same effort as closely as possible every time. Just keep it consistent, all right? I don't really get in there and press a whole bunch. I don't see the point in it, but you can. And if you do that, then keep it the same every time. The other thing is that you want to keep it nice and level. You don't want to be a slant on your bed of coffee here in the portafilter. Okay, you want to kind of keep it even. So just take a look at it. You can try to correct that if you messed up. You know, just press down a little bit more on the side that you left uneven. But for the most part, the way I tamp, which is not very hard, I just kind of feel around here and I can see the border, you know, and once I sense like resistance, like it's not wanting to go down anymore, I stop. That's it. Let's see what we get. I'm guessing we'll get a shot, but it's gonna take more than 35 seconds. Let's see. All right, so here's our shot. You guys saw, we just like I expected, we did get the shot, and it did go a little bit over, just like I thought. You know, it ended up being, I think it was 44-second shot, right? And we got our 54 grams out. So for my taste, this is gonna be fine. This is gonna be perfect. As a matter of fact, on this light roast, this might even be better. So let's try it. You guys saw the crema? It was a nice shot, nice looking shot, I should say. It smells great, man. It already had a chance to cool down a little bit as I was setting things up here to try it. But you know, these Cruve cups, these little Cruve shot glasses, they have some little wings inside, I guess you would call them, so that you could swirl your coffee and it stirs it up inside. So you don't need to stir it with a spoon. You could just swirl it a little bit. Man, that is awesome. I'm telling you, making it yourself and dialing in and doing all this process, it's so much better. You get something like this at a coffee shop. This has no sugar, nothing. No milk, no sugar, and it's excellent. You know, Macando's is in the Doral area. So if you're here in Miami and you live close to Doral, take a drive one day. As a matter of fact, they make probably my favorite sandwich around town. For sure, turkey sandwich is the best one. And I love turkey sandwiches, but the one at Macondo is called the sweet and salty. The sweet and salty. Try that sandwich. You will not regret it. The coffee, buy it, make it yourself. It's gonna be better. I mean, they do nice cappuccinos, lattes, milk-based, but I've ordered straight espresso from them, and it's so much better when I make it at home. I mean, this is perfect. You do get a little bit of that acidity, right? Let's see, taste-wise. You know, it's a light roast, but it's not that light. This is like kind of like a medium. It's nice and thick. Yeah, for sure. You get a little bit of the acidity. Now, as far as flavor, for me, I would say this is like a fruitier shot, something like an Ethiopian. But again, you know, I'm just an average consumer. I'm not like your expert that can taste different. For sure, I wouldn't say it's not on the citrus side. It's either on the earthy side or more on the fruitier side. It's definitely not like the Costa Rican one that was very like citrus forward. And the Ethiopian is definitely fruity, like a fruity coffee. You taste the fruitiness. This one is more earthy. You know, it's not bitter at all. There is some sweetness to it. The fact that it brewed a little bit longer, you kind of end up trading some of the acidity for some of it just gets sweeter. It gets sweeter. And for me, this is perfect. As a matter of fact, this one, I think I could see myself making a milk-based drink. Well, it's gone now, so definitely not with this one. This video already took me kind of long to make, and I'm not gonna pull another shot today. But you know, hey, subscribe to the channel so that you can see the next time we sit down and talk about coffee and some of these toys. There's upgrades coming for the brew bar. You guys will see that. Okay, there's some nice upgrades coming, and I'm gonna finish enjoying my shot here. Where it's pretty much gone now. You know, I got a little bit of honey there at the end. Yeah, at the end I got definitely, and you know, as it cools, it's gonna develop more flavors. If it's very hot, and you know, my machine was very hot. The cups have been sitting up there for like an hour, and everything's really nice and hot. So the shot came out really hot. The last drink, I got a little bit of like honey to it, and definitely sweet with a little bit of acidity. I mean, it's just perfect. It's wonderful. If you guys get into the coffee hobby, you'll see when you start brewing yourself and making this at home, and then you get the little toys and you want to try all the different distribution methods and the different brewing methods, and it's just fun. It's fun. Subscribe to the channel. Please give the video a like, comment something below, reach out on Instagram. I answer everyone. If you have a specific question about the scales, let me know and we'll try it out. All right, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.